Is that that wouldn't be too much for me?
What, too much foam? I'm meant to have that much foam on latte, but still, it's fine.
Okay,
It'll do.
Now, I used to have lattes,
Yeah.
like a lot, because I had a friend who got them. But I can't drink them anymore because they're too.
Did you break up with the friend?
Sweet. And yeah, honestly, we're history.
Just reminds me of him.
And then that with sugar, I think would kill me.
Such a massive sweet tooth, it's ludicrous. See, I don't drink, and I don't smoke, and I don't do drugs or anything, so sugar is my vice.
It's your little luxury.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So the shortbread biscuit makes things...
I'm very excited. I made my own shortbread the other week, and it was a bit too thin, so I think I need to practice more. I'm a big baker.
You do a lot of it?
Yeah, I bake all the time.
Oh, wow.
I've developed a new signature cupcake the other week. I was quite excited about that.
Okay.
Which is, so my original signature cupcake was a lemon meringue cupcake. Homemade, so it was a coconut cupcake base with homemade lemon curd inside and then a meringue on top. It's amazing. But now I think I prefer my new cookies and cream one. So it's a milk chocolate cupcake with then marshmallow frosting and pieces of Oreo cookie.
Very extravagant.
That's very good. Yeah, it's a signature cupcake. This isn't what you make day to day. This is
right. Okay.
This is for occasions or for showing off or taking to my agent and going, get me some more work.
But say if I was going round for coffee, would there be this sort of?
It would be an occasion. Someone like you came round, then I'd have to make my signature cupcake.
Because I'm such a celebrity.
Oh yeah, totally. That's what it
Yeah.
is. I don't know actually. But even now you said it's too sweet, I probably have to make something less.
Give me an apple or
less
something.
kind of sugary, maybe. Although my favourite thing to bake is probably the worst. My favourite thing to eat that I bake is the worst thing for me in the world, and it's so easy. It's unbelievable. It's called Mars bar cake, and it's 6 Mars bars melted down with butter and sugar, poured onto cornflakes and then put in the fridge. That's all it is.
Right.
But it's like eating joy. It's so tasty. And
Did you come up with that? Or
no, it was on a recipe. I've got the Hummingbird app.
Right.
I'm well into my baking, and and it was one of the recipes on there. I was like, this looks so awful. Let's see if I can make it. And I love it too much, made too much, and I nearly put my friend into a diabetic coma. But still, it was.
But you can handle it. You can handle 6.
Less and less now I'm growing up, which is really sad. Starting to realise that I can't eat as much sugar as I used to down Haribo bags, and now I feel like I'm talking like a recovering alcoholic. It's about to down 20 pints now. Can I get one down? Yeah.
Well, was that because you are quite energetic on stage, aren't you?
That though is I did like drama. Camp on like a Saturday. I used to do a thing called Stagecoach. I don't know if anyone, if you've met anyone who's done it before. Sort of awful. It's like daycare for stagey mums. So I did that on the weekends, and there was a woman whose like tip to me was, if you're not moving, you're not interesting. So I think because it's just me on stage, I feel like if there's nothing happening, if I'm not making a movement, then everyone must be bored. So that's why I'm a little bit. I'm less so now. When I first started, I was really kind of conscious on stage that people had to be noticing what I was doing. So I moved around a lot. I move a little bit less now.
So it was like a conscious thing. It's like,
definitely.
I'm moving. Not,
Yeah.
I'm nervous, so I'm moving.
Maybe a little bit. I'm nervous and I'm moving, but definitely. I knew that I stand in really odd positions anyway, but I do that without thinking, and so I kind of incorporated that a bit, moving around everywhere. I flamingo a lot, which is...
But I mean, it's a performance, isn't it? It's,
yeah. If I get on a massive stage, like I did a charity thing recently, the Bloomsbury, and that's quite a large space. So I just found myself running about, and I feel guilty if I'm not using the space. Because whenever I did drama and theatre studies at level, and so you do a devised piece. Whenever I'm in a massive space like this, I'm like, oh my god, guys, we should tell you to do a sound bath. I get really into it and want to kind of put some stuff into it. I always feel like there should be more theatricality to stand up
expressive.
sometimes.
Well, yeah. I mean, it is very solitary sometimes,
Yeah,
isn't it?
yeah.
Especially, I suppose, because you're doing circuit gigs.
Yes.
Do you find like the stages?
The stages
sort of
get smaller and smaller.
Yeah.
Especially at Christmas, you're pretty much doing it on a coffee table. Like, it's teeny tiny because everyone's packed in around you, and so you're on this like I don't know if you've ever been to Manchester, the Frog and Bucket.
No.
The stage is like this big. We did a comedy in the dark at the Frog and Bucket, which is that you do comedy. And they completely turn, like, it's pitch black in the whole space. You can't see a thing. It's ludicrous. And so I'm on this stage and I'm constantly terrified that I'm going to fall and die, which adds a little bit of a thrill to the performance. And obviously, as a performer, that's weird. So, but then maybe that was quite good because we did it again in Birmingham at the Electric Cinema, and that was a big stage. And I moved around a lot, and the lights came up, and I was this far from falling off. And I totally hadn't noticed how far I'd walked.
So you're moving even when it's dark. This is
yeah, those ones. When we did it in Edinburgh, I did it a few times in Edinburgh, and it was great because it was dark. You could lie down, so I would I once did it flat on my back. I did my whole set just lying down because I thought I'm never going to get to do this again.
Yeah,
this will be amazing. So I have a bit of a risk and a little bit of a rest, and it was it was on at midnight. I was tired. It was quite long into the run.
Yeah, well, I suppose it opens up those different things that you can do. I suppose it's what's good about Edinburgh. But I mean, have you, in your actual show, have you ever said, okay, I'm going to just stay completely still?
Yeah, sort of. I think when Triple Threat, which I think you saw, you said, there was a story at the end which was a complete kind of tone shift in a way from the rest of the thing. So it was a story about some homophobic bullying, fun, always a good source of comedy, that happened to me when I was little. And so I kind of told that story with the microphone stand. I didn't move, and that was a conscious decision because the story wouldn't have worked if I'd have added too much levity into it. And obviously there were jokes. It wasn't like an art piece. There were jokes in it, but they were more lyrical, more wordy than
bit arty in flavour.
Yeah, probably, definitely. It's not a story that I do on a Saturday night in a Jongleurs, but it worked very well in the Edinburgh show, so that was fine.
Yeah. So how do you find those as a shift? So you've been doing your Edinburgh show. It's quite nice. They've come to see you,
yeah.
and then you're kind of thrown into the bear pit.
Well, luckily, because I was lucky enough to be booked to do other gigs in Edinburgh as well, I had that anyway. So I had people who weren't expecting me, and I got to throw myself into weird situations. I got to do Spank, 2:30 in the morning when nobody can understand any words coming out of your mouth.
So how do you approach something like that? Do you still try and do your material, or do you just have to go with
you do your material, but you know, those are your chops. Those are what you get from doing gigs on the road. Is you get to learn how to deal with audiences. So if I'm going into an art centre, it's very different to if I'm going to a really boozy gig, but you still only have 30 seconds to prove to them you're funny if they haven't already kind of seen you on something, which me, they haven't seen me on anything. I've really got to tell them, hi guys, this is what's happening, here's 4 things about me that make me amusing, let's listen. So you still got to do that. I think you still got to hit them with a joke really early on, and then they go, oh okay, he's funny, we're fine, let's listen. Obviously that doesn't always happen. I had my hellish Christmas gig last year. I think it was the 12th of December.
Where was it?
Oh my God. It was Leicester Square. It was Metra in Leicester Square, one of the Comedy Carnival gigs, and it's the dream that it's the gig that will leave me in cold sweats. It was horrible, utterly just unsalvageable for me, and I was comparing, so it was even worse. Luckily,
to keep going back.
To keep going on. All the other acts had a really good night. It was a lovely, strong lineup. It was Alan Cochrane, Adam Bloom, Zoe Lyons. It was a really nice lineup. They just hated me, and I just got all the flack. So I was quite. As long as everyone else had a good gig, then I was sort of alright with that. But it was all the other acts kind of got through it. It was Adam Bloom spoke. I've never seen him he speaks quickly anyway, but I've never seen him not leave room for breath. Got through. I think he did about 45 minutes of material in 20. It was ridiculous. He just went off on one. And it was brilliant, but at the same time you're kind of going, woof, I can't keep up with that pace. So yeah, that was horrible.
Just ruthless. Yeah, but at least you didn't, like you say, you didn't feel personally responsible for ruining it for everyone else.
They were fine. I think I took a bullet a little bit. Yeah.
Exactly. So all the hate that was in the room was channeled.
I'm used to being bullied. It's fine by large groups of people.
Yeah, I mean, was that because you were different, or they hadn't seen you, or
what the gig?
Yeah,
I don't know. It was Christmas. I think maybe I approached it wrong. I mean, you can pull things apart, but every now and again you have a bad day at work. And I think that's just what it was. Yeah, it was a lot against me. There were lots of big groups, there was an army contingent, and one group of lads who just decided they weren't going to laugh at the compere. Like, that was literally, you could see them deliberately not laughing. You kind of, this is so irritating. But, you know, if you're thinking of doing Christmas at comedy at Christmas, with your workplace colleagues, make sure they want to go there before you book it. Just, and if you do go, don't start drinking it too.
But I think a lot of people have said about the Christmas gigs and how the money is lovely, but you work for it. And
it's not that much better. Like,
is it not?
It's all right. Like, you get paid a little bit more, but it's not worth trudging through December. I think if I could afford to, I would very much take it off.
Just stop it. Yeah.
I'll do a panto next year. That'd be more fun.
That'd be fun.
Yeah. Put me in a children's TV series, and then I can do panto.
It's the new thing, isn't it?
I'll make a great buttons, I reckon.
Well, just go for it, you know, or you do a one-man panto, or see how it goes.
One-man panto?
Yeah.
God, somebody's going to do that now. Someone's going to do that next year. God, someone's going to do it in Edinburgh. That'll be terrible. Oh, man.
Well, it's weird with Edinburgh because it goes through phases of stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like, I think last year it was all about musicals.
Yeah, everything was the musical.
And then one year it was all about Facebook. Everything had a slight Facebook slant.
What's it going to be this year?
I don't know. One-man
Revolution?
pantomimes.
Pantos? Maybe a panto.
It'd be nice for them to come back, make a bit of a return.
I went to a panto this year, and CJ from Eggheads was in it. And it was terrible.
Can you say which one it was?
It was, it was Beauty and the Beast. And it was at a theatre in London, the Shaw Theatre, I think. It was only a little panto. We went because my friend's friend was in it, and he was the Dame, and he was very good. Like, he out-acted everyone. He was funny. A little bit risque for the children that were in the audience, but he was funny. But the whole thing was the telling of the story was so bad, and the prince was hideous looking. It was appalling. But what the best bit about the entire panto was I went on Grindr during the interval, and there was CJ. So a little chat to CJ on Grindr. That was amazing.
It's a happy ending.
Thankfully, there wasn't a happy ending. We didn't swap pics.
That's good. I was going to say about Edinburgh actually, because you've got your show title and you're doing previews.
This year? Yes. Yeah. Well,
already?
I didn't go last year, so I was busy in August, so I couldn't go last year. And so I did a show at Leicester Comedy Festival that was called David Morgan. Or am I? Or is it? I can't remember what it's called. It was a terrible title. It was utterly awful. Like one of those ones where like, I need to come up with something in 10 minutes.
Sounds quite good, I think.
So then I did it at Camden Fringe in Camden, obviously. And I did a version of it, which I called Pretty. And then again, that was a holding title, but it's kind of stuck. So now I'll be doing Pretty in London end of this month, little previews, and then Leicester and Glasgow, and then Edinburgh. So yeah. So.
Is it still kind of a title, and you don't quite know what's going to be in it, or is
No, it's done and fixed, and some of the stuff's taken out, and they've put new bits in, and it's still got the same kind of structure. Yeah.
You're ahead of the game then.
I'm a little bit, but
Very
I reckon
much.
That's made me complacent, and that's a worry. So I don't think you ever approach it in the right way. I mean, I like that I've got more than 50 minutes of material, so I can put a show together. But I am a little bit panicked that I've grown too used to the material, and now it's going to sound like dirge when I do it. It won't be fresh and exciting.
Well, that's what they told us at Drama.
Obviously, it will be. Buy a ticket.
Is it early? They'll forget about it. Yeah.
So
it's at Drama at school. They were like, you can't practice it too much.
Yeah.
Because you get too.
Because then you're reading a script. But luckily, I mean, I really like interacting with audiences. So there's always a bit when I do something with the audience to kind of wake them up and wake me up in a way, and also so I can have a little bit of fun that's different every day, because otherwise you're doing the same thing for 30 days and it can get a bit much. So so I'm doing so the professional that you saw, took a photograph of someone in the audience and made the creepiest wall ever.
What, they all had the same name?
Clint.
Clint.
Because it was a tiny funny gag where I'd ask their name and they'd like Adam and I go, oh, not hot enough, I'm going to call you Clint from now on. And so then I'd show that I had 50 other Clints. Tiny
wow.
Polaroid. Yeah, but that was interesting with Edinburgh. So the first time I did it, I thought it was going to be a little funny gag. So what I did is I picked someone in the audience and I took their photograph and put it onto a wall. And the gag was going to be that I turned around this pinboard and it was just full of faces, all with Clint and then a number. Mm-hmm. And I just put it on and then spin it back round. But the first time I did it, I couldn't just leave it because audience was like, what the hell, what was that? So it became an extra kind of 10 minutes and I had to drop some material and to talk about this ludicrous thing that I had created and now couldn't stop doing because it was actually quite funny. So yeah, I've still got the Clint photographs. Only one of them was stolen by the girl who worked in the venue. So I had photographs of all the hot boys that came to see my show, or one hot boy a day, and lots of comedians. So like Russell Kane was on it, and Ian Sterling, Matt Richardson, and Tom from the Noise Next Door, my favourite one, Purple, and lots of other people. But then the only one that got nicked was a photograph of Joe Bohr, because the girl that worked in the venue was obsessed with Joe Bohr, so she stole Clint number 17, which would be Joe Bohr, and I have all the rest at home, not like in a bag. I don't like have them up on the wall. That would be creepy. A couple maybe, but yeah, so it's an odd little memento of my Edinburgh.
So, but we can expect more things a bit like that.
This one's a lot nicer. Well, actually, it's because the show is about attractiveness, and how we gauge it, and how we gauge our own personal attractiveness. That's a really poncy way of talking about my material, to be honest. But that's kind of what it's about. Because I was in the Gay Times Naked issue last year, and then I was put in this weird list by Heat, which called me a hunk, and then put me amongst these people who've got like proper jobs and like proper acting jobs. Like one of them was Cam Gijonet, who was in burlesque. Like they've been in films, and then I was next. It was an admin error essentially. So I'm talking about how we rate attractiveness, and so I get people to rate attractive people and how attractive they are, and it's quite interesting actually, because I thought it would be pretty open and shut, but turns out people have very, very varying tastes and can take against people for the tiniest of things, so that's quite fun to play with.
Well, sounds excellent.
Yeah,
look forward to seeing it. Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
That's all right, no worries.
It's the handshake.
Oh, I like that. That was good.
Authoritative there.
That was nice.
Excellent.
Cool.